not government mandate. Now, as silly and as foolish as that may seem, it was a big selling feature. Believe it or not, yeah. Oh, we got enough cup holders for everybody. We've got 9 cup. The Honda, they've only got 6, but they've got 7 seats, but they only got 6 cup holders. Making you believe, well, somebody's going to get left out and have to hold the damn thing, and it's probably going to be mom up front. The drinks. But it's competition, not government mandates. When did we first get anti-lock brakes? Remember the movie Tucker, Man in His Dream? Well, that's true, folks. That's based on an actual historical figure. The audio. I mean, he had a lot of innovations. He had seatbelts and I think he had anti-lock brakes, and he had headlights that turned with the steering wheel when you turn. Oh, what do we got? We got some cars that headlights today do that. They kind of turn with you. And for a long time, back in the 80s and in the 90s, there were cars that came, the headlights didn't turn, but they had certain things called cornering lights. They were these little bright lights, like mini headlamps, that were on the side of your car so that when you turned on your turn signal, it lit up that side of the car in the roadway so you could see it. They're called turning lights. Remember, I had a Ford Taurus that had those. I thought it was cool. But so you could see around the corner. And why did they do that? Because was it a government? It was a safety factor. Yes. It improved safety. Yes. Was it a government mandate? No. People think that government does everything for you. Government doesn't do much. It's not government. It's the private sector. The private sector comes up with most of this stuff. I know you got Obama out there touting, well, see, you don't have a car that does 50 miles a gallon. Well, in this day and age, with gas as high as it is, do you think it takes a government mandate to get an auto manufacturer to increase the gas mileage? No, because one of them is going to do it, and then everybody else is going to have to follow because they're going to entice people to buy that product over theirs. What was that? Mazda 3 with this new Skyactiv technology. I haven't driven one yet. I haven't test driven one, but it can get up to 40 miles to the gallon, and it's not a hybrid. 40 MPG for what is, pretty much a little sports car. Yeah, it's got sporty performance. In the first part of this century, in the first half of the first decade, Mazda 3 was rated, a couple of years in a row, the best car on the market in its class. Now they got this. Now that they got this thing doing 40 miles to MPG. Is that a government? Do you think government mandate would? No. With gas being $3, $4, $5 a gallon, do you think maybe that people who are looking for economy, both in MPG availability and price of the car, a Mazda 3 isn't going to cost you 40 or 50 grand like that stupid Chevy Volt? And people will buy the 3. Now, what are the other auto manufacturers going to do? Well, they're going to scratch their head and say, well, hell, man, they got a little sporty car that has got some power that does 40 MPG. What do we got? And then they'll develop a car. I don't see everybody tripping over themselves to come up with their version of a Chevy Volt. Anybody notice that? I mean, whatever happened to that Nissan Leaf thing? I mean, that was supposed to be, Nissan was supposed to be, putting their future on the line with this. Whatever happened? I don't even hear about. I think I've seen, it came out one year. I saw commercials, for like 2 months, and then do they still make the Nissan Leaf? I mean, all you really hear about is the Volt now. That was a government thing. That's an Obama car. and a stupid Prius. I can't tell you how many Prius owners are so disappointed in the Prius. But they still make them, and people still buy them, and that's fine. But I don't see all these other car manufacturers trying to outdo the Prius. Why? Nobody wants these things. I love the Chevy Volt commercials. Yeah, I don't have to stop for gas. I have to get Obama gas because I got Obama electricity. No Obama gas. I only gotta fill up once a month. Well, you know what? Considering the range of this, the electric range of this Volt, it means you're not driving very much to begin with. I know people in this area that wouldn't work. No, because they live in New Hampshire and they commute to work inside the 95 or 128 Beltway down near Boston. No, that's a 40 minute to 75-minute commute one way. Because the range, depending on where you are in New Hampshire going down to Boston, the range is Nashua, New Hampshire is like 45 miles from Concord is 60 miles from Boston. An hour's drive, basically. Well, the Volt, from what I understand, isn't going to make it down there and back on electric power. So you would be filling up more than once a month. Just saying. But again, I don't see a lot of companies, jumping into the electric car market. So why is the Volt being so pushed? Because it's Obama's car, folks. It's the Obama car. They're trying to make the Chevy Volt the American version of the Volkswagen Beetle, the Bug. The people's car. Obama wants to say that the Volt is the people's car. It's crap. The lifestyle. Well, if you change your lifestyle drastically, the car will work for you. But if you're considering how much of America is built and how much and the way that many Americans live, the Volt will not fit, at least not in the Volt's current incarnation. It doesn't go far enough on a charge. Not to mention, where do you think the electricity comes from? How come nobody talks about this? Where does the electricity come from that charges up the Volt? Well, I got to plug it in. Yeah, so you plug it in at home. Where are you getting your electricity from? From the power plant. And what power plant? How is the power plant creating the electricity? I don't know. Well, here, genius. It's either natural gas fired, coal fired, nuclear powered, or in some places, maybe nowadays, garbage is burned. So, all that stuff has got huge environmental negatives to it. So, again, how are you saving the planet? And this whole, turning off your lights to save electricity is, it's a good, it saves you money. But you're not saving the planet if you do it. Just saying, basically, let's just, folks, do you think that if you turned off your 60-watt light bulb, that the power company now will produce 60 watts of power less? Think about it. No, they don't. The power plant is going to produce its 100,000 megawatt for that day, whether you turn on your 60-watt lamp or not. Now, granted, if everybody switched to an 8-watt LED light instead of the 60-watt light, yes, then that same plant will be able to power more lights. without having to build a new one. That is true. But saving the planet or saving electricity, that's not what you're doing. You're not unless you take the power and put it in a battery, you're not saving electricity. It's actually going to waste. But what you're doing is saving yourself money out of your own pocket. But believe it or not, if 100% of that 100,000 megawatts isn't used, it's lost. It's wasted. Whatever isn't used is wasted. So basically, if you don't use that 60 watts, it goes to waste. It goes to the end of the line and it's done. Hey, electricity just can't disappear. Yeah, it can. It gets to the end of the line. There's nothing left. You're just done. Gets used up and disappears somehow. Electricity is a mysterious thing. Why do you think they call it the theory of electricity? Just saying. But, private industry will do a lot better job of coming up with things that the public wants and is willing to purchase than government mandates. Government mandates often leads to stuff that people just don't want, like the volt. Nobody wants that thing. Quick story, BuzzFeed is, here's a Shashank Tripathi, last night's Twitter villain at Comfortably Smug. Now, during the storm, it was, I guess the story was down for a while due to Sandy, but during the storm, user Comfortably Smug was the source of a load of frightening but false information about conditions in New York City that spread wildly on Twitter and onto news broadcasts before Con Ed, the MTA, and Wall Street sources had to take time out of the crisis situation to refute them. Now, what leads a person to do such things, which as critics have likened to shouting fire in a crowded movie theater, is unclear, but perhaps it has something to do with the nature of anonymity. Oh boy. If there are no consequences for posting false breaking news, there is an incentive to do it to accumulate a large audience. Now, what Comfortably Smug didn't count on, apparently, was losing that anonymity based on photos he censored and posted to the account, but I found unedited elsewhere. Now, Comfortably Smug is now this has to do with being anonymous online. You can be anonymous. Well, there are bills floating in Congress right now that would eliminate anonymity, your privacy, basically. You want to use a cute little SN, online name. Nope. If some of these bills are passed, nope, that'll be illegal, punishable by fines and or jail. You're going to have to use your real name. Now, based on the information that this writer was able to find, Comfortably Smug is Shashank Tripathi, Shashank, Tripathi, Tripathi, a hedge fund analyst and a campaign manager of Christopher Wright, this year's Republican candidate for the U.S. House from New York's 12th Congressional District. Now, FEC documents show that Wright has paid Tripathi thousands of dollars this election cycle as a consultant. Now, Comfortably Smug has been a vocal supporter of Mitt Romney and posted tweets suggesting he attended this year's Republican convention. He's listed here by a local Republican group coordinating volunteers for a Romney phone bank, and he's 29 years old. Okay. Now, for years, he's been a prolific commenter at nymag.com and a popular conservative presence on Twitter. In 2008, he penned an entry for the site's popular sex diary feature that detailed a week of obsession, rough sex, and Ambien. I guess